This is one of Jenn's largest clients, has 2 saltwater aquariums. Jenn, do you want to talk to me about servicing?
Servicing, so that's where I started. One of the main reasons why New Wave has been successful. I think it is imperative for every store to be successful. I know I'll always have a job because I do what other people don't want to do. I'm a fish janitor and I love it.
We're going to show you for the first time what it looks like to service an aquarium inside someone's home. This one's an 800 gallon and a 400 gallon.
I'm excited to show you what I can do.
Okay, Josh, what got you into aquariums?
Just love the colors, love to watch them swim. You know, they're just so peaceful to watch. You know, I see them in all big office buildings you walk in, see them in hospitals, you know, scuba diving, snorkeling, just seeing the colors and the way they move in the wild is just so serene.
This was Josh's dream. So he wanted to be able to, like, when he came, sit down, like, you want to place an aquarium where you spend most of your time.
Right. Well, and in Fish Only, from my understanding, because I've always done reefs myself,
Yep.
I've done only one Fish Only. It wasn't too hard, but Fish Onlys can be quite challenging.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And with the amount, like, we have a whole bunch of different angels in here. We have a whole bunch of different tanks, making sure that everybody gets along, also keeping them all healthy, fat, happy, all of the things. So obviously with the filtration, that was a big deal. Lighting, I really wanted them to pop. That was also a big deal. And then flow and making sure that everything's properly filtered, big deal.
Started small, didn't know anything. Put all these little toys in the aquarium. Look, a metal Volkswagen, well, in the aquarium. Never mind that it released about 7,000 different toxins into the water column. I didn't care about that. I just cared, oh, well, why do my fish keep dying? And then eventually, you know, I hired Jenn from New Wave Aquaria, and she got my tanks looking phenomenal.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 returns.
Okay.
3 drains. So actually that's not true. We have 9 drains, but
9 drains.
they're
Yeah.
combined.
3 boxes, right?
Well, 3 boxes, 9 drains combined into 3 3-inch sections that go through the basement.
Oh, okay, cool. And wow, this is crazy.
So
It
we're
looks
gonna
so good. And this is what plumbing should look like, Fritz fam. Plumbing isn't right off what you would think of would be the coolest part of your aquarium, but when you do it like this and you take your time and you do it right, first of all, it's going to make your life so much easier, your aquarium so much more efficient so they can actually take care of the fish, and it's going to be a bragging point.
When I design these, I'll ask the customer what color they want.
Right. You can do any color.
Yep, I can do any color.
So you could do blue or green?
Yep, blue, green, yellow,
Okay.
purple,
Yeah.
all of the colors.
Jimmy likes purple.
There you go, purple. Purple it is for you. This is schedule 80.
Okay.
Schedule 80.
Okay.
We definitely I need that. I always.
And you
do
wouldn't want to go
schedule.
any
No,
thinner
I don't
than schedule 80.
I
so.
don't. This is a one and done type deal. I don't want to have to replumb this ever. So when we started the project for the plumbing, we had to actually stub it through the floor first before she rocked it. So leaks not an option. So.
And is this a massive project to go through the floor like that?
Absolutely.
Right.
So, and you have to do it right because they will sheetrock, and they did sheetrock over it.
Wow.
So we do test runs as well before we finalize.
And you got the opportunity to actually plan out this aquarium before the home's built, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
This will be a much harder thing to do after the home is in place.
Almost.
But still possible?
It is possible.
Yeah.
It's a lot more expensive probably because you have to cut holes.
Because now you're doing construction. So.
Yeah, I much prefer doing it ahead of time than having to do it after the fact.
I'm actually going to this is my last day here with you. So unfortunately, I can't stay and do the maintenance with you as much as I'd like to do.
Yeah, because we got some skimmers down there calling your name. I think Caesar's doing them great now, so we can go check it out. Hopefully I have them done before we get there.
Wow, this is impressive. Can't wait to see the bottom.
Awesome.
All right.
So I have to say technology has saved this industry. But there are plenty of people out there that will disagree with me, saying, well, I still do things the old way. Well, you know what? My tank and your tank, and we have 3 people and 3 different methods work for everybody. And, you know, it's all about sharing information with everybody and taking little bits and pieces from everybody's tank and maybe implementing them in your own. You know, I may pay attention to what Andrew Sandler does in New York, or Jenn at New Wave does in her store. Jimmy over there doesn't even have a tank, I don't think. Does in his tank.
So on our way down to look at the plumbing, I just want to stop and show you this
Oh, wow.
beautiful 400-gallon reef aquarium.
Wow.
We installed it last year.
This is
So
only a year old.
only a year old.
Wow, that's
So
impressive.
I will clarify. So we moved from his previous home. I've been doing the tank for 7 years. And so when we did move from one house to the other, some of this came obviously with us. So some of the rock came, but
So this moved over. What size tank was it before?
180 gallon.
So you went from 180 to a 400.
Correct. When we first started the project, you know, it was the fish tank upstairs that we were really focused on. And then this was kind of like, well, let's just go big or go home.
Right.
So this was kind of the afterthought right before we finished
So
with
800
the project.
upstairs.
800 upstairs.
400 downstairs.
Correct.
What type of man hours are you putting into this home in a
So
week?
this is a weekly maintenance client, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're here. This tank takes about 4 man hours or 4 labor hours, I guess we'll say, per week, just to kind of go through. We do water changes, water testing.
These corals, they're growing, so they have to be turned back at times, right?
Yeah, it's like gardening. So you have to make sure that they're not touching, everybody's happy. This tank, Josh loves lots of color. He likes movement, so we have like the anemones on one
Right.
side. Great movement. That was one thing that we did transfer over from the other side of the tank. A lot of times with mixed reefs, I'm not super fan of putting nems in there because they can wander.
Right.
This tank's big enough where we have been fortunate enough that they stay. And so with more flow stuff, I think some of the other feature pieces, absolutely huge Indonesian elegance there.
Yeah, this one, and the elegances used to be much harder, and then now they're highly successful probably because of how clean the water is, or?
I think it's a twofold thing. So I think people were blending the Australian with the Indonesian, and I think there was a bacterial war. And so I think we know so much more about the bacteria war, so then we condition our elegances. You know, you just have to retreat with red slime remover to make sure that they are healthy before we put them in anywhere. And then if we're combining the Indo and Aussie, do I know 100% sure that that is why it's been successful? No, but it works.
Right. Is this from your collection of rose bubbles?
Yes.
But
So
I don't see any of the snow miser in this year.
no, well, actually, that's not true.
Is there a little snow
No,
miser?
those are no snow misers. So
I know
they-
a snow miser when I see
Yeah,
one.
that's fair.
And this is not a snow miser.
No, we don't. Now
So-
Josh is going to have a snow miser because
Right.
that I like that.
Now, this is a very colorful chalice. What is this variety here? Like, what's the name of this one? Do you know?
So
Or
I
is that
didn't
too-
name it.
You know this one? Oh, you
I
didn't name
do, but it's the pink boobies.
it? The pink.
Yeah, so that's
Oh, gosh,
interesting.
we're gonna change the rating of this channel.
I mean, what Josh calls it, I'm not going to say because then we definitely have to change it.
Yeah.
But no. Other fun things in this one, I even have some leather corals. Sometimes people are like, oh, they're not fancy.
Right.
It doesn't need to be super expensive
Right.
to be beautiful and make the cut, I
Yeah,
guess.
that is amazing. And this is a beautiful aquarium. We could certainly dive into
I know,
all the different type of coral. Plumbing? Right?
Plumbing.
All right,
Let's go before we get too distracted.
Would you say that you've gotten better at aquarium keeping?
I think I have. I know now that if I'm going to get a coral, not to just put it in my tank, I have to dip them and I have to treat the coral. I also know that, you know, not every fish gets along. You can't add 2 clown triggers. You can't add 2 soul house together. And some fish are just nasty fish.
This is the the Dreambox, right? The Dream.
It is the
What'd you call it?
Dreambox.
The
Yes,
Dreambox.
it's the Royal Exclusive Dreambox.
Well, so I know that Caesar is your plumbing and filtration specialist.
Absolutely. Yeah,
so-
and design.
I am going to switch from you to him.
Perfect.
If that's okay with you. And you're dismissed.
Awesome.
Okay, we'll find
Show
you
me,
later.
baby.
All right, here you go. Caesar. All right, tell me about this Dreambox. Is it necessary?
Honestly, yes. Why not?
Why not?
Why
okay.
not? I mean,
Can
yeah.
you overfilter?
Yes, you can.
You can. This seems
can.
like a overfilter.
It definitely is a big boy.
Yeah.
But if you've seen the tank upstairs, it's necessary.
There's a lot of big fish in there.
A lot.
Right.
Beautiful fish. The owner keeps them well fed, so we
Yeah.
know that He likes to feed, you know,
Right.
he gets crazy with it, but that's why we have this guy here. We have this nice roller mat,
Hmm?
and helps a lot with all the detritus. We have double 300 octo skimmers.
Yeah?
We have a reactor, a GFO reactor, and helps with phosphates.
So GFO is granular ferric oxide,
Correct.
right? And that's going to remove phosphates from your system. And phosphates is really the cause of unwanted algae in your system. So not good for your system. If the algae, not only do they look bad in an aquarium, but they also grow on top of the coral a lot, and they starve them out and cause them to die, right? And so this is a fish only tank, and pretty much the reason why you wouldn't want algae is because it just looks bad.
Right, I mean, there's no corals to hide it.
So tell me what else we got in here.
So this is set up as the B-man alone.
Okay.
We have a full siphon. We have the middle one, which takes basically the little bit of extra water that we have coming down. And we have our emergency drain.
What are these little numbers here telling me? This is a Panasonic timer.
This is how a roller mat functions.
Huh?
How long it's going to wait before it turns, and the other one tells us for how long it turns.
Right.
So once it hits the sensor, it'll wait 3 seconds, and then it'll turn to 5.
So what do I do if I press this button here?
Well,
Oh, before I leave, you see you have these check valves here. As promised, everything needs a check valve.
right.
So-
I mean, I just don't like that, having that problem. You know, I've been in places where you have to drain a little bit of the water out of the tank first, because otherwise it floods your sump.
Right.
And we're trying to avoid that at all costs.
Okay.
It's also just safety, you know?